welcome to today's episode of the Daily Blend. I am your host, AC, and we are joined in studio today by Janice Rivero Morris, who is, well, you have quite a lot of titles.
I do.
So you tell us who you are, Janice.
Okay. I'm Janice Rivero Morris, and I am one of the founders of Escuelita Alegria. I am also a teacher, full-time teacher, and the board president. So lots of hats.
Yes, you were doing all the things.
All the things.
You were doing all the things. And tell me what the name of the school means.
So Escuelita Alegria means joyful little school.
Love
we are a Spanish immersion school. We just opened at the beginning of November with a few students, and we've been growing steadily, and we still have space for many children to join us.
Oh.
Yes, and we are downtown, right on Hitt Street at the First Presbyterian Church. And so we have created a fabulous partnership with Pastor Katie and her staff. Mm-hmm. They've been very gracious with us. It's been a wonderful journey of getting licensed. We're fully licensed for 50 students.
Okay.
We have 4 classrooms. And right now we have one main classroom that we have multi-age grouping of children as we get started and grow. And then as we have more children, we will separate the children out into different age groups because that's best for their learning at this point.
Okay. Yeah. And what ages, like what are the ages of children that you take?
Mm-hmm. Any child that has turned 2 can start at our school, and we have open enrollment year round as long as we have space. And we will adjust our classrooms as needed as children enroll. And they can be with us until they start kindergarten. So any child that hasn't started kindergarten can start with us. So right now we have children that are almost 3 through 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, when I think about Spanish, I think about, years ago when I took Spanish in school. I was fortunate. I grew up in St. Louis and went to a magnet school, and we did have a chance to start earlier. I want to say maybe we started in 4th grade, which is a little earlier. But like my kids now, they didn't start a language until they were in middle school. And so if I had the opportunity to do something like this earlier, of course I would have. But what are the advantages of starting a child so young?
Okay. So starting young is a great advantage because when they're young, they have less inhibition. They're willing to try things. They're not as fearful of, well, if I say it wrong, someone's not going to understand or someone's going to laugh at me. So in my previous life, I was both a high school educator here in Colombia and a middle school educator principal.
Bless you.
Thank you. And it was a fabulous experience. And in Colombia, most children start in 6th grade, as you know. And middle school can be a difficult time. It's stressful. There's a lot of things going on. Fitting in is very important, what my peers think. So when they start young, their pronunciation is much, much better. And one of our very important emphasis and what we want to make sure that we do is we want to have always teachers that are fluent speakers and as much native speakers as possible because the pronunciation is a native speaker's pronunciation of the language. And right now, I myself am the child of Cuban immigrants, and our other full-time teacher is from Spain. So she brings the very Castilian Spanish to the classroom, and I have the more Caribbean island pronunciation of some of the words, and we complement each other very well. So her zetas are very pronounced from the Spanish in Spain, and it's great because we have great discussions about. In any language, there's some variation of how we use words. And so we've been talking about some of the colors. And so is brown marrón, or is it café, or is it carmelita? And, and we use multiple of the words because they're going to hear the different words depending on where they travel.
Yes. What a fantastic, I love the whole idea of immersing very young children into a different language. It's one of the, I would say for me, when I think back, I'm like, gosh, I wish I had stuck with it, or gosh, I wish I had learned more, or gosh, I wish I had taken that trip, because now I get a little intimidated if I'm planning a trip to a place where I'm like, I can probably figure out a few words, but, I wish I had done more. for sure.
Right. We definitely have the advantage of the electronic media and like the Babbel and those kinds of programs that can help us. The more any of us hear the language and hear it spoken, the better it is for our understanding and our retention. With the children, one of the things that we do is anything that they can see us do, we try to always use the Spanish words, and we simplify the sentence structure because they're children, but we don't baby it down too much.
Okay.
So when they're washing their hands, we talk about los lavamos las manos, y frotar, which is scrub, y la parte de atrás de las manos, entre los dedos, doing all of those kinds of things that they can see what we're doing, and so they can connect the words to the actions. Mm-hmm. While we're eating lunch, while we're having snack, we're talking about el tenedor y la cuchara, y el plato y el vaso, and all of the things the items that you use when you're having a meal, when we go to the restroom, when we play outside. We're using all of those words for all of those actions that they're doing.
Yeah.
And one of the important questions that we hear is, so what if my child doesn't have any experience? We have a mix of students. We have children that have no experience at all in Spanish, and then some that do.
Okay.
And so we cater to what the children need. And obviously, like I was mentioning, the action words of the things that we're doing. And then one of our students is pretty good at Spanish because his household is in Spanish, and he's 4. So we're getting him ready for kindergarten.
Yeah.
And so I often work with him and speak with him more in English because that's what he needs.
Yes.
So we're not only Spanish immersion, but we're also getting kiddos ready for kindergarten in whatever that they need, and very specific preschool work, so we're not just throwing things at them, worksheets and that sort of thing. We're very much focusing on the way that they should write their letters, and a lot of play base as well. Lots of play.
That sounds really wonderful. So tell me how people can find you. Where are you online?
We are at escuelitaalegria.com.
Okay.
And there are 2 A's. Escuelita ends in A and Alegria starts with A. So there are 2 A's in there. And we're also on Facebook.
Okay, perfect. Well, hopefully people will be interested and they will come and find you. Janice, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.